All right, so everyone got this on Teams? Got this information here? So let me show you that PowerPoint, and I'll start with that cat I showed you yesterday because I'm so excited. Any chance I can show the kitty? The poor stuff. How to stuff a lion? Did I show you this yesterday? Yeah. Stuff a lion without knowing what a lion looks like. Okay. Hey, it's 19th century, 18th century. I'm sorry. So, just to review, a couple things just to review about an essay. Opening paragraph, remember that's context. And let's say the question is about, what caused the session. The question or prompt. Question or prompt in this context means the same thing. If it's about like what caused the session, think about all the things that led up to it that could be used as background. We have slave power, Missouri Compromise, nullification, annexation of Texas, Mexican-American War, Mexican Cession, Compromise of 1850. Are any of these things I just mentioned foreign to you? They should not be. These are the kind of things you put in a brainstorm list. Did everyone hear what I just said? Because you got to do a brainstorm list. So, Wilmot, or like Compromise 1850, Industrial Revolution, the growth of capitalism, the Republican Party, bleeding Kansas. Remember all this stuff? Those are the things you put in a brainstorm list. I repeat, those are the kind of things you put in a brainstorm list. Okay, so, context, background. Remember, in that opening paragraph, I do not want a kind of rehash of what you're going to write in your body paragraphs. I want background. Show you know what's going on. The Compromise of 1850 would make California free, but set up the very divisive Fugitive Slave Act that led to conditions that led to slavery. Things like that. Then your thesis statement. 1 to 2 sentences. We've talked about thesis statement. We've done a thesis statement. Many thesis statements. Then we get to the body paragraph. And I want to make sure we get it. I'm trying to come up with some kind of formula, what you need. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be in this order. It's no different than a regular long essay, and it's the basic format of a short ID we do in class. Remember, just a summary, explanation, a summary, example, evaluation, why it's important. So, let's get to the main part. You need a topic sentence. And remember the topic sentence, that will be in your thesis. Remember that? That's in your thesis. The A and the B. Because how many paragraphs will this essay be on? Yeah, 4 paragraphs. 2 body. You need an A and a B. So, a brief summary, 1 to 2 sentences. Just one sentence explain what it is. Just to remind, just so you show. And that also gives you a chance to get information that you know. It's not enough to just have the document. You have to have, they call it outside information. Stuff you know. And then, first document is evidence. So in a long essay, you use evidence you just know from your own information. Here, you got to use a document. Remember, no quotes, right? No quotes. So, brief description and show how it's evidence. You can make a claim. Shows how this was a reason for the northern or the southern reason for secession that would lead to civil war. And it's important to relate to what you know. Relate to what you know. I'll give you an example of this in a second. If you can relate it to what you know, not only does that make your essay stronger, but it shows you really understand the documents. You're not just copying what the document says. You're not just copying words. You're analyzing it, relating it to what you know. That's really important. That's really important. 1 document, 2 document. And then here's the thing, some of you asked about when I gave you this sheet on writing in DBQ, you asked about on Friday. Now for reasons, we're just going to use the terminology. This is something we do, I do for the AP exam. So I add a sentence purely for you to do well on the AP exam. And they call it HAP, which is additional analysis. Why do they call it HAP? Because they want you to explain why the author has the view they have in the document, in the political cartoon, why they have this view. And how do you show it? by giving something that's historical content, age, audience, purpose, point of view. Now, I don't make a big deal about that because there's so many things related into that, so we just call it HAP. But that is the additional analysis. And here's the format. Blank believes this because of, like, their point of view. So, John C. Calhoun. John C. Calhoun was fearful of the free soil position because he wanted to spread slavery because he believed in the positive good theory. Or Abraham Lincoln was opposed. Abraham Lincoln believed that slavery should not spread because he was a free soiler who feared slave poverty. You ever catch what I did there? That's all it is. It's one sentence for one, now listen, one of the two documents. You got that? So you have to add an additional sentence, and that's called HAP. Blank believes this. That's the generic format. It doesn't have to say believes this, but you know, blank believes this because of this. Or you know, Southerners feared a Republican president because they thought all free soilers were John Brown. Yeah.
So it's in one of the two documents.
You add it to one of the two documents. Yeah.
And is that in both of the bottom paragraphs?
Yes. In each body paragraph, do that for one of the two in the one of the two in each body paragraph. So you want to get it twice. The reason why is this. I know it seems a little awkward and out of place, but if you do that twice, that's 1 out of your 7 points in the APUSH. It's a lot of points, right? It's a lot. So we do that. 4 documents, brief explanation, show it's used, and then for one of those, for 2 of the 4, 1 of the 2 in each body paragraph, add HAP. Lastly, if you can, this is just to reinforce your argument. One more example of your, if you have one more piece of evidence of your knowledge, it's called outside information, not in the document, outside of the documents, add one more sentence. And then finish with that importance, connect it, tie it together to the pieces. That's about 8-sentence paragraphs. It's not that long. I know that's easy for me to say. I'm not the one organizing and have to write it, but it really isn't that long. So we have 4 to 5 sentence opening, 7 to 8 sentence paragraphs, and then a 4-sentence closing. It's not that much. Let me rephrase that. I know it's a lot of material to get in, but all of you have written in here and can do that easily. You've already written an essay, you've done a lot of short essays. You can do it. And it's fun. And I'm trying to make it practical for things I can use in class to evaluate you in an honors college level history class, but also help you with these. Any questions on this? So everyone got that? Use 2 of the documents. Don't quote. Put 1 of the 2 in each paragraph. How many documents total? 4. 2 in each paragraph. 4 total. 2 in each body paragraph. And I will give you the DBQ. When I do, there will be 8 documents on it. And so, when you read the question, you're evaluating a statement, you make your stand on it, think about how you're going to answer it. Everyone got that? Think how you're going to answer it. Do a little brainstorm, think about it. Then read the documents. Don't read the documents until you have a good idea of how you're going to answer it. Obviously, you have to be practical. You have to be able to fit 4 documents into your answer. So you have to be practical. But already have a good idea. So when you go back and read the documents and start writing down where this will fit in, you've already thought out. If you start reading the documents before you start thinking about the essay, I think it's so much more difficult. Basically, you have to double your workload. I know what's going to happen. You read the documents, you go back and think about the question, and you have to go back again and figure out how the documents will fit. I've seen it. And when you get the documents, there's a lot of room. Write down where it fits in. Like this shows free soil. Just write down free soil so you know. Because if you don't add that stuff in the documents, You read the first one, and now you're on your sixth document, you're reading them, they're all very short. You'd be like, what's the first one again? And you have to do it again. And I see this all the time when people are writing DBQs. They're writing it out, you see them writing, and they're like, they have no idea. They wrote it in their outline, and they just put out doc A. They don't know what doc A is. So they go back, and they start looking through the documents. And they basically have to redo it. If you have to do that once or twice, that's what happens. If you have to do that for every document, you're out of time. You're out of time. So write it down. And you'll get the documents in advance, so you have plenty of time to do this for this one. All right, that's a body paragraph. And I'm trying to make sure we get this, because I know we can do really well on these. I just want a format so you don't have to reinvent the wheel each time we write an essay. And then a closing. Rephrase, get a little more context what it led to, but the least important paragraph in a timed essay is the closing for obvious reasons. Want to make sure you get a good opening, but really nail the body paragraphs. The documents are only in the body paragraphs. That's where you use the documents. And remember to cite the documents at the end of the sentence you use. Doc A, Doc B, Doc 1, Doc 2, whatever they're going to be. I can't remember what these are. These are numbered. So Doc 2, just put down Doc 2 in parentheses. Any questions? Okay, so the documents are evidence. Do not just summarize the documents. You have to evaluate them. So let me give you an example. Hey, here's 2 outlines then. And I have copies of this on Teams, so it'll be bigger, so don't worry. You can expand it, you can look at it. And this PowerPoint is a PDF on Teams, so you can access it. It's all on it. So here's an example. Quick brainstorm list, about 15 things. All kinds of stuff. This is about the Industrial Revolution. This one's about the events leading up to the Treaty of Versailles, ending World War I. I'm just giving you examples. But here's the big thing. Thesis, and this shows the irreconcilable argument in the Treaty of Versailles. So we'll get to later. But this is document A. Say what it is in your outline. Document A is about the actual vote on ratification of the treaty, or if it's the free soil issue, or if it's the Republican position. Write those couple words in your outline. Do not just write down Doc A. Because if you write Doc A, that means you have to go back and look at it. Time. So you have to have an outline when you turn it in. So, what's the star? I put it 5. I gave you examples of 5 paragraph essays, but we're only doing 4, right? That's where you use have. That's have. This is a little bit different. It's the same basic format. They used to demand 3 or 4 examples of have. We only need 2. So it's a little bit different now. This is a change they made last year. All right, one more thing. Let's do this sample real quick. Do this sample really quick. Can you read the document? Can we read it all the way back? Well, remember, first thing you do, check who wrote it, the South Carolina Ordinance of Secession. I'll start right. Who's the man who's elected? Who are they talking about? Yes, Lincoln. Remember he said this at the Lincoln-Douglas debates? And basically this lays out why they seceded, doesn't it? This lays it out. It's pretty clear. Why did they secede? They believed not just that slavery can be extincted, who will extinguish it? The election of Lincoln will lead to the end of slavery. Now, Lincoln said he's free soil. But they don't believe them. They believe all three soldiers are one person. No. John Brown. So, does it say Lincoln? No. Is this? Does this? Oh, I'm sorry. Can we read this as saying Lincoln would or enslave? No, we don't know that. This is the point of the view of South Carolina. They've convinced themselves that Lincoln is lying and will abolish slavery. It's not fact that Lincoln would do it or ever said he would do it. It's just simply saying we think he will, and that's why we're doing it. And that lays out their position. So these are historical content. These are things to be on your brainstorm list, like Lincoln, election, all these. Do we know all those? What those are? And that's the sentence. That's how you use it. Can you read it? Everyone read that? Doesn't it lay out? I explain what's in the document. You notice I added a little bit of my knowledge. Republican, Abraham Lincoln, free soil. That's not in there, but that's what this says. So I'm showing I really know what's in there. If you put down a free soil president, good job. You put down Abraham Lincoln, good job. You're showing you know what's in there, not just summarizing the words in the document. Yeah. Yeah, that's huge. Now let's get to HAP. Want to see HAP? I'll give you 3 examples of HAP from this sentence.
Will this be on, will this be posted in Teams?
Say it again.
Will this be posted in Teams as example?
Yeah, all this is on Teams. It's all on that PowerPoint. So what I showed you just when I was first going through it, it's all on here on Teams. Jump right here. So these are all 3 examples of HAP. And you notice I put a little star there. That's a little tip I learned from someone who grades it. I don't want to grade it, that's why I don't do it. But can't grade 1,000 essays anymore. But you add a star, you let people know you're doing the HAP. Remember that's for one of the 2 documents per paragraph. Believe this because of this. Believe this because of this. Or, threatening secession. So, just another way of saying believe this because of that. 3 examples. This is all on Teams. That's the 1 sentence HAP. So everyone got that? We have topic, summary, 2 documents, for one of them HAP. Any outside information and conclusion, boom. It's fun. I just saw your message. I'll change it, I promise. I literally just, I thought I did. Like I said, I'm old and or before. There's another example on Teams, .z, and so you can look at it on your own, and that's examples how it's used. Everyone got that? We're good? So you can look at these examples on your own. Last bit of example, right here. That is a sample paragraph. This is also on Teams. This one's about dropping the atomic bomb, but it's the same format. It's all the same format. And I know you can use a little bit different words. And the point is, at the time of essay, you don't have time to reinvent the wheel. You just got to get what you know and get it in. So if you look at this on Teams as an example, the next page has an example about the events leading up to revolution. So don't summarize the documents. Don't quote. You're answering a prompt, a question. I hate the word prompt for some reason. But you're answering this question, and your A and B show you how you're going to answer it. Good? So please look at this. If you have a question tomorrow after going through this, please ask. Now, I said I was going to wait a day, but I changed my mind. Do you want the DBQ now? Are you excited? You notice there's lots of room to write on this. Use it. Oh, one more thing. There are 8 documents on it. You only need 4. If you don't like one, don't worry about it. You can't see how it would work in your essay, don't worry. So on the AP exam, they'll give you 7 or 8. And so you have ones that you don't like, throw it out, don't worry about it. I think that's one. You have enough or do you want more? Is that enough? Grab that good. As soon as you get that. Ah! Yeah, we'll turn it up, but I do want you to write on it. So we turn it all in. I just like seeing that you're organized. So I'm just going to look and just kind of go through. Okay, yeah, you went through. And if you use whatever shorthand you want. My point is, I just want to make sure you're organized. I have my own shorthand that works for me on essays. I'm a firm believer in outline. I know it's a little more work, but I've written and read so many essays that aren't organized. So you look at this, it asks, look how short the documents are. Some are a little bit longer, some are short. There's a map of the election which shows you the sectional crisis. So it actually shows you the divide. You can use that for lots of different things. And so, oh, question. So turn it over. The top part, that is what caused the session. That's the title of it. And then the question and or prompt. You have to evaluate the statement. Does everyone see that? That is your prompt. Evaluate the statement. So, what is your why? You take a position on that statement. Got it? You take a position. And then your A and a B, those are going to be topics that will reinforce your position. So if you believe it was slavery that caused secession, then you would use your A and B to show that. Differing arguments about it. And don't forget one big thing. The election was huge. The election of a free soil. Okay. Are you excited? You want to just do it now? You just want to get it over with? Should we just do it? God, you all want to. When are we doing it? And you can have your outline, brainstorming pieces when you come in. Everyone got that? You're turning that in, but you can have that written before you come in. If you have your have a thesis statement and you want me to look at it, I put it on Teams and I'll look at it. Everyone hear that? Thursday. If you have a question on your thesis, I will take a look at it. I will help you. And use your own shorthand, whatever it might be. All right, let's take out the worksheet for the video then. So remember, we're going to pick it up right after secession started and kind of come back to a little bit. And so we talked about John Brown in 15 in class. We also talked about 16. And let's go 17. Everyone go to question number 17. Yeah, we don't worry about it. So let's go. 17, Lincoln won because the Democrats were split. We talked about that in class right before the bell rang. And what was the reaction? A month and a half later, what state seceded first? What state seceded first? South Carolina, followed by the rest of the Deep South. Look at that map right there in the middle. See the states in green? They left the Union first. The states in yellow waited, hesitated. But the states with the highest percentage of slaves seceded first. We're going to pick up, oh, and one more thing. They named provisional president, and then eventually become president, Jefferson Davis. So write down Jefferson Davis for number 17. And they created a new country. What is this new country? The Confederate States of America. Everyone got Davis? All right, we're going to start right there then. What was it?
Nothing.
Give me a sec. The first capital was in Mobile, so let's start right there. Let's start right there. Oh. They didn't hide.